welcome to Break Up and Do Over with Aderonke. All right, so today we will be looking into the question, how do I know if I am in the right relationship? All right, guys, grab a seat and let's dive in. Yes. In 2010, I found myself in a very toxic relationship. I couldn't leave because, I was deeply invested in it. And I know you're familiar with that word invested. But what I mean by that is I have invested my time, my money, my body. Yes. So just to let that go, oh, no way. So I stayed, even when I know that I wasn't meant to be there. However, God came through for me. And by that, I was in church one Sunday, and a lady who sat beside me, one of the choir member, asked me if I would want to go on a trip to Paris with her and another friend of ours. And I said, sure, why not? So we went on this trip, and on our way to Paris, we got talking on relationship, and they asked me about my own relationship, and I gave them the lowdown, the gist, and they were like, "Oh my God, sis, you need to embrace your fear and leave the guy." And while we were returning back to Belgium, I started reflecting on my life. I was like, okay, no, I don't care. You already have a blueprint for yourself. Coming down to Belgium is for a reason. It's not because of a guy, because of a relationship. You have goals, you have aspirations, dreams, and all of that. Would you just allow just a relationship, or a guy to just take that away from you? So I made a decision, and I said, okay, when I get back home, I'm just going to break up the relationship, which I did. It was a very, very tough one. However, I didn't go through that period or the season or the process alone. I had friends who actually helped me through. So the ladies were like, okay, you know what? You're going to stay with me and all of that. I wanted to move out of that house, which I did. I lived with her for a while. And, she was very, very like, into my business, wanting to know, oh, I'm not reaching out to the guy. I'm not communicating with him in any form. And I'm grateful to God because of the gift of um, accountability partner, you know, and that could only happen from the place of vulnerability. So I see strength in that. So for someone who is saying, yeah, I can't be telling my shit out to everybody, like, no, but I am grateful because it was a leading. When you have the leading of God, God would give you the right people that will help you through that process. Okay. And why am I telling us this story? I'm telling us because I want you to know that you are not alone. Whatever challenges you are faced with, you are not alone. However, to help you know truly you're not alone, you need to reach out. You need to come to that place of vulnerability and seek help so you can get it. Okay? So once again, I welcome us to Break Up and Do Over. And on today's session, we will be answering the question, how do I know? But in the form of a story. So in the course of the week, I have got people reached out, tell me their stories, and ask me the question, and so I felt like I know there are people out there who also have similar questions and need help. So let's just bring it down here and look into the question together with the help of the Holy Spirit to give us wisdom and direction. Okay? All right. So I trust God for today. I know God will help us. He will give us inspiration. So the first case says, my name is Clara. I have been married for a year now and I am pregnant. However, the baby has Down syndrome. I went for my doctor's appointment, and in the same hospital, I met my husband with another woman who is also pregnant. I was surprised to see him through I was surprised to see him though because he was supposed to be at the office, which was the reason why he couldn't come with me to the appointment. I greeted him and asked what he was doing at the hospital and who the pregnant woman was. Before my husband could respond, the woman with him said, I'm his wife, and who are you? I nearly fainted, but I didn't. The other woman began to attack my husband with a loud voice, asking if he was cheating on her. I became very confused with what just happened, as the other woman claimed they have been married for 9 years and they are happy together with their kids. I left them both at the hospital to take time to breathe. I felt heartbroken, but I still love my husband and he loved me too. My husband didn't come home that night, but sent me a message that he had an explanation for his action. When he did explain, he said he felt something deep for me the very day we met, which he didn't feel with his wife of 9 years because they were high school lovers. My friends and family asked me to forgive him because he is nice and I may not find such a man again. Right now, I'm confused and I would like to know if I'm in the right relationship. First, let me say thank you, Clara, for sharing your story with us. This is a wise decision. It's a very, very wise decision to ask questions before making a move. And I'm also thanking everyone whose stories would be shared on this series in advance. You are brave, and thank you for the opportunity. And I think I would want to take this question from beneath. So let's start with where she said, my friends and family asked me to forgive him because he's nice. Hashtag nice. And I may not find such a man again. Not find, underline. This is called error. Is with what I hear the statement too a lot. He's a very good man. You better hold him well. Let's so he won't slip away. Another woman will take no. He's nice, very, very gentle, he's kind. Those are error kind of statements. If you're making a decision, you're making it for you, not for your friends, not because of what your family think, not for the society, because you are the one in it. You are the one experiencing whatever you're experiencing. So that is error number one. Nobody should ever make the decision. Like I always say, don't give the pen, the pen to write the story of your life to people. Don't give that control, the power to people to write the story of your life for you. Don't. So the next line says that, he said he felt something deep for you when he met you. And he never felt such for his high school lover. And they've been married for 9 years. I just want to ask you, Clara, that what if he finds another lady that if he feels something even deeper than what he felt for you with a person? Is that something you can live with? Think about it. And what if he never got divorced with his wife? Can you live with, sharing your husband with another woman? And let me move to the next one. When your husband explained, he gave the explanation of, it was the connection that drew you guys together. And all I could hear him say is, I hear lies. Why didn't he tell you about his family? And I remember in our conversation, you were talking about, there's always a business trip. He's always giving excuses of why he's coming late, why he's not going to be home for a month and all of that. So he was spending those time with his family. I never told you that. Can you live with that? Do you think the lies is just going to be a one-time thingy, or what if he tells another? And you talked about having your child with Down syndrome. Do you realize that a child with Down syndrome requires attention? More attention than you can ever imagine. You've not given the birth yet. And some child requires to go in and out of hospital, which means that you need to be available. What if your partner, your husband, is unavailable? Do you think the emotional, aspect of it is something you can deal with alone? Do you think you can do this on your own? I'm just asking. You would be the one to decide. However, what I will say to you is what you need is to seek help. Seek help. And by help, I'm referring to professional help. So speaking of the professional help, I think I would like to take us into the angle of due diligence. You know how we do due diligence before investing in a business? It's the same way we ought to take our relationship life. But most people depend on love just being enough. You have heard the quote, love is not enough, and it can never be enough. You know why? Because we all have our baggage. Every one of us have this little child, little girl child, little boy child inside of them that are broken, that needs attention. A lot of trauma of the past, childhood trauma, pain we are covering up with bandage. Some people are depending on, let help from heaven to just take the pain away. So love is not enough, people. It's not. So you must do your due diligence. Singles, listen to this, please. I know we say things like, counseling therapy is expensive. Trust me, it is not. You know what is expensive? The cost of a divorce. The cost you pay to your lawyer, the time you spend going in and out of the courts, the expense of it, the physical, how tired you get, the mental, the emotional stress of it. If kids are not involved, do you know what that means? How you have to explain to them. And the damage you're going to do to those children of yours after divorce and during the process. Even you, after divorce, the period when you are now single, again, the mental stress, the trauma that comes with it, those are very, very expensive. They are prices you can't pay for them. So when we say go in for counseling, what we are saying to you is pay the price now. Pay it now so you don't pay later. But it's your choice. You either pay now or you pay later. Your choice. So Clara, please seek professional help so they can look into the story in depth and see the proper help to give to you. A counselor, a therapist, or a coach is just the same as a realtor that you seek for your title search for the property before you invest. They give you the pro and the con of what you are about to make commitment into. Yeah, that is the same thing we do here. Please seek help. Don't do life alone. You have already made the brave step. Don't give up on yourself. And know that you are much more than the relationship. But you must seek help. Amen. And the second part I want us to look into is so this person wrote, I saw your new series on video on Facebook, and I thought maybe you could have answer for me. I have been dating my boyfriend for 3 years now, and in between these 3 years, he would always walk out on me whenever he feels pressure with things happening in his life which he refuses to share with me and has nothing to do with me. He would break up with me and return with an apology after 2 to 3 months, and I would accept him back, and we would start from where we left things without having to discuss his action. I'm always careful of the things I say to him so as not to trigger or provoke him to leave again. So I decided to just enjoy the moment with him without asking questions or engaging in personal conversation. And this seems to work because we have been good at doing life together since then. However, I became very scared when my boyfriend proposed to me. In fact, I freaked out and went blank when he said those words because all I could think of was him walking out on our marriage when faced with the pressure that comes with responsibility in marriage. To help you understand where I'm coming from, my mom is presently in a nursing home living with mental health difficulties. She developed this illness when my father left her for another woman and walked out on us. Since then, my mom never spoke a word and never got better. My dad is living his life with his new family and never cares to visit my mom. My fear is I don't want to end up like my mom, which is why I need your honest opinion. Please, do you think I should accept his proposal? Betty. Thank you, Betsy, for sharing this. So, reading your story, I hear words like pattern, which is a habit. I hear transitioning. I hear esteem issue. That's like a self doubt, which explains why, you keep opening the door of your heart for him to come in, whenever he returns. And I hear I am not enough. I hear loneliness. And of course, I hear fear. Yes. First, let me say this to everyone and anyone who is in a committed relationship but scared to ask difficult questions or any kind of, questions whatsoever, or you're scared to have, uncomfortable, the inconvenient kind of conversation with your partner because you are scared of your partner's response or reaction, or and you can't deal with what the feelings that will come after the question. Listen to this. What you're setting yourself up for is a life of assumption. And a life of assumptions does nothing to anyone but fail. It fails you. It leads one to a place of failure when you keep assuming everything without even gaining clarity. It means you're just living a life blindly. That's what it simply means. And I want you to hear this. If that is you, you need to seek a professional help. Because that is toxic. You can't be scared to speak. You can't be scared to ask questions. And I'm asking you to even, during your session with your counselor, your therapist, or a coach, they would dictate if it is how you ask the questions, your tone, the attitude you put in when you're asking, because it matters. The attitude you give when you're asking questions determines the kind of response you're going to get. That is a fact. Which is why we have to keep working on ourselves. Right. So, we also need to understand that the reason why we have to ask questions is to gain clarity. The same way we go to God in prayer. God, I need you to help me. God, I need you to give me guidance. I need you, what do you think of this? Is this something because you want clarity. You don't want to just jump into something. You're asking for clarity, and there is nothing wrong in that. Nothing is wrong with that. Because you're asking to know, are we on the same page? How can I help? What is going on? Am I doing anything wrong? Are we in an exclusive relationship, or is inclusive? That is, are we in a relationship that we are allowed to see other people, or is just you and I? Is this committed? What does commitment relationship means to you? What does relationship mean? I want to understand. I really want to understand what you're thinking. That is why I want to ask. But if you're making me feel like I can't ask you questions, I can't be free to ask you questions. If you're making me feel scared to ask you, then I'm not meant to be here. It's toxic. So the second part of, what I said I saw, transitioning. And, I hear this a lot with people. You can actually be with people who are in a place in their life where they are in a process of transitioning. They're transitioning into a new place. And maybe when you met them, they were confused with their life. They feel stuck. It doesn't make them a bad person. They're not just meant for you at that time. So you can eventually see them with another person. And those particular concerns of yours are not things that have been rectified in their new relationship, and all is well. For example, maybe your concern is religion. Maybe they happen to be a Muslim and you are a Christian, and you want them to convert to Christian. You want them to, go to church with you, but they never did. Maybe yours is conversation, intimacy. Maybe yours is sex. Oh, it depends. But they never gave you those things. But you heard about what they are doing in their new relationship and how great their new relationship is. And you're like, all I just needed for this person is just to change. They are in transitioning. So, which is why you have to know what you want. And if it's not looking like what you want, your expectation, please don't assume that it will get better. Nobody can change for you. People change for them to become best version of themselves. You need to know that. You can't force anyone to change. Please be careful. And I pray, I also wish that you seek counsel, professional counsel, and I pray the Lord will help you. Amen. I love you, people of God. I will see us next week by God's grace. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Ciao, 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 ciao.